शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
कृष्णं
कमलपत्राक्षं पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनं वासुदेवं जगद्योनिं नौमि नारायणं हरिम्।
So this is a sort of study class. It's not a lecture.
This is Roswitha.
This is the first book in the 7 books in the series of the life of Lord Krishna, what Master E.K. has. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Please come.
Thank you. Good morning.
It is the starting of this this series of these 7 books, how Master started. It was a wonderful event. It was a situation where there was a big unrest and a big agitation, unrest. You remember, you were not, no, you were not there. You were. So it was much before. So there were people with much emotion and unrest and all these things. To have a separate state and all this was happening. This is all because of the political and all this. And there was very tense situation. And there was much, people, when there is such situations, there are some people who create much disturbance also. So then there was military, police and all this situation. And there was curfews. And then one evening after Master, every evening Master used to give these discourses. And after discourse, then some urgent cases, and then in one of the houses of the disciples we gathered. And then we asked Master that that such situation, the situation, present situation is very awful, because the emotions of the people are aroused like that. The common people they are ignorant and emotional, and their emotions are aroused, and they made to fight with each other, so causing destruction. So we asked our Master that what is the end, where is the end of this, and what is the solution? And was the situation was there always before like this, or only now? We want you to explain us. Then he said, okay, sit down. And he said, such situations are not new to humanity. they are from time to time, these situations are there, because always these few wicked
Hello?
people will be there
Yeah?
who want to exploit and bring such unrest. So then he said there was such situation when Lord Krishna was there also.
Ja, ik was niet, wo bist du denn?
And then how he dealt with,
Ah ja, aber wir haben schon
and then
angefangen.
just in a few minutes
Ja. Mhm.
he has
Also,
given us
Ciao, ciao.
a description, and also all of us, we felt like a vision how he has given. And then he started to dictate the sixth book first. That was the music of the soul. In Telugu first. That was actually the sixth in the series. We didn't even know that he is going to give the series all these events, and spontaneously he started, and then he started to dictate the book, and we were taking the writing. So it's about 1 week, 10 days completely. Has given dictated. Every night he used to dictate, and this was very thrilling for us, because how such situations were there also when Krishna was there, and how he counteracted all these things, because these are not only situations on the face but on the background. There are many evil forces who drive such situations. So such evil forces are always there, keep working. So how the white forces they work out to counteract these evil plans of the evil forces. So this was his description was wonderful in this book. You have read this Music of the Soul.
We have it translated into English.
Yes.
Dictated into English.
Yes. So that was the first book. It's the sixth book which was given the first. And after that he has given the seventh book, Man Sacrifice. And then he started with the first book in this series. That was very interesting. So this book, it is called Purana Purushudu in Telugu. And the meaning is the world teacher. Purana means the eternal. In one sense it is called ancient, but you can also say eternal. So he is the eternal being, Purana Purusha. Purusha is the supreme being. So this is the first book gives about what are the various situations that were worked out from various directions, and how the rishis and the masters were cooperating with this divine plan to direct the disciples, their disciples, to work in this direction, to prepare a ground for the Lord to come down into the form. Because this is a special event when the Lord of the universe, when comes down into a form, that is always a special event. So how the common people can receive this, and how the initiates they receive this. So all these things were given in this book by Master. And the first chapter of this book, this book contains 33 chapters. That is also significant. Because 33 is a very significant number. 33 devas, groups of devas are there. So the first chapter, the opening chapter is a chapter which starts as a dialogue between Vedavyasa and his mother Satyavati. That is the opening chapter in this book. Satyavati, you see, last time when we met, I mentioned some of the grandmasters. You remember last time also we have studied some of the aspects of Mahabharata. Then I mentioned you Parasara. You know this name very well. Who is the author of Vishnu Purana?
Father of Vedavyasa.
He is father of Vedavyasa. He is the author of Vishnu Purana. And he is a grand master. Maitreya was also his disciple of this Parasara.
And that was when? What age?
This was about 5,600 years from now.
5,000 before.
From now back,
3,000 before Christ.
yes, 3,600 years before Christ.
3,600. Wow.
Yeah.
Parasara is called Yugantar Rishi. That
He
means
is
who works for in the gaps of every yuga, he brings the light.
So Parasara was a grand master. And this Parasara, it happened that because he was responsible to bring this all the Vedic wisdom in the present form, which is available now for us through Vedavyasa. So this Parasara wanted to bring an important soul into incarnation to cooperate with the work of the coming Lord, because he knows that the Lord is going to come into form, because he is a grand master, he is connected. So he wanted to bring a very highly evolved soul into form, but not just by the normal impregnation and getting in the womb of the mother for for 9 months like this, but he was not like a householder having, but he has seen he was waiting for a very pure
So,
person through whom this soul has to come down. And then one day he has seen Satyavati. When he was going somewhere, crossing the river of Ganga, there he has seen her. And then he could, because he was a grand master, so he knows all astrological and everything. So he felt that this is the moment for the advent of such soul. So he has seen her, and he could see that she is the very purest form. And then she told her that I need your help to bring such a highly elevated soul for the coming work. She said, yes, I will cooperate. So then he, through his, it is not physical normal sexual act, but it is through he projected his light into her, and then she received this soul into her through him. And it is called, she got this soul, and there was no need for 9 months and development. And this child came out immediately into form through her. And this was Vedavyasa. That was a phenomenon which is, for the present humanity, is difficult to understand.
But
How
this is possible.
Yes,
And only once, or it happened after?
It has happened once,
Only once.
yes. You know how Christ was born?
They say the same for him.
Yes,
They say the
yes,
same.
yes, that is what is called
Immaculate. They say.
immaculate.
Yeah,
The same phenomenon.
same.
That happens once in a while when
Okay.
when such high,
High
souls,
souls come.
descend.
Okay.
That happens. But that needs a very pure,
Mm.
because it's coming from very high energy.
Mm.
And the one which should be the mother should be very pure, purest.
Mm.
So that is why she is called virgin, and she is also called virgin.
Ah, okay.
So this Parasara said, after you you give birth to this child immediately, after that you still continue to be a virgin.
Mm.
He has not taken her as his wife and nothing. He said only for this purpose, and you are free, you are virgin. Like that. And this lady, afterwards, she was married by the father of Bhishma. Last time I told you. So the father of Bhishma happened to marry this lady afterwards. And that, so she was a housewife then afterwards in the royal family. She is from the royal family. But first this was the instant, and this child was, Parasara has taken this child with him, because he is immediately a grown-up child, like a grown-up child. Yes, with all his
Oh,
spiritual power and everything.
so it's like materialization,
Yes,
like this.
like through her.
Mm.
And so then this Vedavyasa, he bowed to his mother and told her that, Mother, since you became the medium for my birth, for my coming down, so any time when you think of me, I will manifest before you,
Mm.
and I will be ready to receive your instruction. You are my mother. So anytime you can, whenever you want, you can think of me, I will be before you. That was the promise he made.
In the middle of sleep. No problem.
So afterwards, Vedavyasa was taken by Parasara for his training, because Parasara needs this Vedavyasa for the future work for the whole coming humanity. You know? So it's a divine work. For that purpose he has. And afterwards Satyavati, she got married to Bhishma, father of Bhishma, that is Shantanu, husband of Satyavati. Father of Bhishma was Shantanu. This Shantanu was the younger brother of Devapi. Devapi, you know?
She knows. Hey, Krishna.
Kuthumi.
Kutumi.
Yeah. So this Devapi was also he was also born in the royal family. And when his father asked him, told him that he has to take up as a king as successor for the kingdom, then Devapi said, I am not for this. I have come for a special purpose, to be taken by Maitreya as a disciple under his training. And so I have to go to Himalayas to Shambhala. I am not for this. So then Shantanu, the second son, was the successor for their father to take up the kingdom. And this Shantanu first, it is also, as last time I mentioned you, just I remind you, this Ganga, Ganga is the river, Ganges. So the presiding deity of Ganga, she came into human form as a lady, and then Shantanu first married her. She also came for a special purpose, because when the Lord comes down into the form, then all the devas and higher grandmasters, all of them, they also come into forum to cooperate with his work. He is always there with every incarnation. So this Ganga also at the same time, she manifested in the physical form as a woman, and then Shantanu first married Ganga. And at the marriage itself, she put a condition that whatever I do, you should not question me. The day you question me, I leave you. I go back to my own world, again, to my own plane. And she got 6 children, 7 children totally. All the first 6 children, immediately the child is born, she used to take the child and put in Ganga river. And Shantanu was very sad for this, but he could not speak because when he speaks, she will leave. And this was also again for the divine plan. The 8 children, not 6, 8 children. And the first 7 children she did like this. And when the 8th time she got another child, and when she is going to do the same, then he stopped her. Then he said, now 7 times I kept quiet, but 8th child also you want to do this, I can't bear this. I want to have my child back. Then she said, very good, this is what I need. Because this 8th child is also a very great person, who is very important person for this time. So that is why through you, it is the will of the Lord that made to ask to keep this child. So I know this. Therefore now I am leaving, and this child will be trained by another Rishi, and he will come back to you. And that child was Bhishma. That 8th child of Ganga was Bhishma, from Shantanu. But after Ganga left, and Bhishma is grown up, then one day Shantanu met Satyavati, and he felt to marry her. And then his son Bhishma supported him to marry her Satyavati. But Satyavati's father put some conditions. He said, you have a grown-up son who is very valorous and who is very great person. So if my daughter is to be married to you, so I want naturally my daughter's children should inherit the kingdom. But Shantanu was hesitating. Then Bhishma said to his father, I am promising that I will not take up the kingdom. I will protect my brothers who will be born to Satyavati. She is also, for me also she is like a mother. So I promise that I will not take up the kingdom, and I will not marry and get children. The whole life I will be a brahmachari, celibate. And then Shantanu was married to Satyavati. So that was how. And then with Satyavati, Shantanu had 2 sons, but they are not so worthy fellows. So these 2 fellows afterwards, due to their unworthy things, they died early. They had no children. Then Satyavati called Bhishma once again. Bhishma was there only. And she told him, now you can marry, and you can take up the kingdom, and you can get married, because we should have progeny for our continuation of our kingdom. But he said, I have promised it to my father, and my father is not there physically now. I cannot break my promise. So I cannot take up the kingdom, I cannot marry. Then Satyavati was sad, because you see, there should be very suitable persons, because that time in India means it was very big. It was called Bharat, Mahabharat. It was very big, and that is a spiritual center. So she said, if no proper ruler is there, then all this will be destroyed, this culture and all these things, spiritual, all this. So then she called Vedavyasa. And Vedavyasa immediately came, and she told him, this is the situation. So now it is your responsibility that you create children who will be there for the kingdom. So then Vedavyasa said, you are my mother, whatever you say I will do. Then the daughters-in-law of Satyavati, there are two daughters-in-law of these two fellows who died. One fellow died before marriage, another fellow who died has two wives, royal family. So then Vedavyasa said, let this woman just appear before me, and then with my spiritual power I can bring the souls into them, impregnated, and then they can have children. So Satyavati directed her daughters-in-law like that, and one of these daughters-in-law, she closed her eyes because she has seen Vedavyasa. He was like a light, very bright, and she closed her eyes when she stood before him. So there was an impregnation of a soul, but Vedavyasa said, the child who comes will be blind because she closed her eyes. So that was the blind king afterwards. And the another daughter-in-law, she also once again, she was asked to stand before him. She stood before him in all humiliation. She did not close her eyes. So she received a soul, and that was the father of Pandavas, Pandu. And then Vedavyasa said, let her once again come back, because there should be another soul who should be a protector of law, who will help these people. But then she has sent another lady, instead of her coming before him, she has sent another lady to stand before him. So this lady got impregnated, and that was called Vidura, a very
Yes.
So this Vidura was a great devotee of the Lord, and he was the younger brother of this Pandu, the blind king and the other king. But he was like a minister for them and advisor, and a very law protecting person, very lawful, very good natured person. So this is how it happened. So in this first chapter of this book, it was a dialogue between Vedavyasa and his mother Satyavati. So this chapter was before this was before the advent of Krishna. So in this chapter, Satyavati starts to speak to her son Vedavyasa, and she says that your father, is inestimable. How he could foresee all what is going to happen. He could foresee, and he has such a power that he has initiated me, and he got you as a son through me, but I was a virgin even after your birth. So this was possible because of your father's spiritual power. And this is not known to people, that is what she says.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. And she says that why he has selected me for your birth, and what he is going to do through you. And this is always a mystery for me, because now she is in a very royal position. She is the mother of the royal people. So this day was the full moon day.